Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about the power of invested belief. Sometimes when enough people believe something, it tends to assume a life of its own. There's an old English word for that called egregore. It was later realized by Georg Hegel, who came up with the Weltgeist, which then served as a model for Karl Marx and Lenin. And Jung called it the collective unconscious, and he's quite prolific as well. Basically, you only require a symbolic system to approach the universe. The system itself is fundamentally arbitrary, as you can derive results in the names of various entities. In ancient Buddhism, they called a tulpa a being that was sort of created by one or a few people to serve a specific function. In chaos magic theory, it's known as a servitor. And if a servitor receives enough invested belief, it becomes an egregore. So it's very well possible in this universe that man has created his own gods instead of the other way around. Man suffers from an inferiority complex, and we have to externalize certain elements of our psyche. And what we are goes beyond our finite minds to fully grasp. So in some ways, I think that paradigm shifting and borrowing elements from various traditions is worse than Satanism, because it shows total irreverence for so many different entities, but you progress in knowledge very quickly, and you begin to understand the human condition as soon as you understand humanity's greatest obsessions, namely sex and death. But it's quite interesting, some of the beings that we believe in. So you have servitors, you have egregores, and then when the invested belief becomes long enough, you have God forms and what I refer to as colossal belief aggregates. And that's when you run into strange siddhis or miracles, which have been documented in various faiths. And it's really strange when it rains roses in Fatima, or you see a cauldron full of palos with a nefarious entity, Sarabanda, living inside, and it's an ancient African deity that it's said to exist in the cauldron. And then you see a live chicken put on top of it, totally unrestrained, and then that chicken stops breathing for a few minutes. They pull the bird up and then it starts flapping around again. I've seen some amazing things in the name of invested belief, working with various god forms, created servitors, created prionic self-replicating servitors, just to mess with the structure of reality. It really only requires a symbolic system. And it's really interesting when you get into demonology, because there was a text called the Goetia that actually deals with evoking demons and forcing them to do your will in God's name. And I think it's sort of very dark text. But I did derive results. You can't really skimp on supplies, and so for that particular evocation of various demons, I used this lion skin girdle. Has 150 names for God on it. And yeah, I've seen some things and experienced some things before I eventually came back to something a little more humanistic. But I encourage you all to explore servitors. Just take a few minutes each day and believe in some kind of invisible being who helps assert your will on this plane. I've had some fun doing it, and to me, magic has always been about results, and I've never had a shortage of results. And you realize how people think that their faiths are superior to those of others when it's all pretty silly when you get right down to it. And you have to be able to have a sense of humor about it, and have a sense of humor about yourself. And that's pretty much all I have to say on servitors and egregores and stuff like that.